In the community of Gaines in Lafourche Parish, signs of Ida's devastation are still visible just about everywhere you look, even more than 3 months after the storm. Plenty of blue roofs. Other homes are missing roofs completely, and still many other houses have been destroyed and will need to be rebuilt.
It's been slow. The recovery has been very slow.
Jessica Bro had 9 large trees come down during the storm. Somehow all of them managed to miss her house. She is one of the lucky ones. Others here have it so much worse.
Like Golden Meadow down by, they don't have homes, period. You have people down by who are still living in tents.
If there is any good news, it is that hurricane season is over.
Look, it feels really good to be out of the hurricane season, Paul, so we don't have to worry about any other developments coming through while we're concentrating on the cleanup.
Lafourche Parish President Archie Chasson says they have all their critical infrastructure back up. They've also picked up 1 million cubic yards of debris. There's still another 500,000 to go. But getting trailers to those who lost their homes remains a problem. The parish requested 3,000. They've since received 300. Only 150 have been hooked up.
Look, it's been very slow because they had to get the units here. I discredit FEMA every time because you would think after, I'm just going to use Laura and Delta of last year, that we'd had a better game plan of where these things were staged, who the contractors were going to be, how the program was going to be run, and none of that was in place.
It is by no means easy here as the cleanup continues. But as this season comes to an end, many are breathing a sigh of relief. Another hurricane hitting after Ida would have been just too much for this community to handle.
Thank God. And thank God we didn't have any more, because that would have been just another horrific blow. It would have been horrible.
Paul Dudley, Eyewitness News.
So the 2022 hurricane season will officially begin on June 1st. NOAA's Climate Prediction Center will issue its initial seasonal outlook in May. And now that the hurricane season's over, it's time to take a look back on the year.
So was it what experts predicted? Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Chris Franklin. Chris, what do you think?
It is what the initial forecasts were as far as the total number. But as we've been talking about since earlier today, there's a lot more to it than just that total number. Now, kind of looking back, we went through our entire list of names, exhausting all from Anna, which started on May 22nd. So before the season officially begins, and then ending with Wanda. We've talked about the fact that there's not likely going to see an extension in the start of hurricane season because most of our storms form within the months of June to the end of November. Every month of the year has seen tropical development, but most of that is during the June to November time period. So here are the numbers. And again, the forecast were pretty on for the number of storms. Does that forecast tell you where they're going to go, how strong they're going to be? No. So you have a rough idea of how many storms we could see. We don't have an idea of where they're going to go because the technology is just not that good. It may never be. 21 named storms, 7 hurricanes, 4 of those were major. Of course, Ida will be our benchmark storm, hopefully for many, many generations. Now, of those 21 storms, 10 made landfall. We had 8 make landfall in the United States. 2 of the landfalls were hurricanes, Ida being the first of those. Now, this is the season numbers, and these are the averages. If you notice, with the exception of the total number of storms, we were right at about average for the number of hurricanes that we typically see in a season and the number of major hurricanes. If you look just at the number, 21, that is the 3rd most active storm season based on just how many storms actually form. But if you look at the ACE value, the accumulated cyclone energy, it was the 30th most active. So in terms of the amount of energy, the strength of the storms, the duration of those storms, it was on the lower end. We didn't see that many strong storms. And in fact, looking back at the season, this is looking at the duration, the length of the storms, and then also the classification. We saw more of these shorties that we call that only last about 2 days or less. So we're starting to find more of these small, almost inconsequential storms that we never would have seen in the past. And that is why we're seeing more storms every season.